Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, I'm Maureen.
I'm Jeanette.
I'm Amanda.
And we are back with another Bridgerton recap. Today we are doing episodes 3 and 4. We did, if you didn't catch our 1 and 2, go back and check it out. And I mean, you can watch this without seeing 1 and 2, but what's the fun in that? So go check out our 1 and 2 episode, which will have aired right before this one. And then come back and watch this one, finish it out. But this is a big one. These episodes are big. They're very important. And we learn an awful lot about all of our favorite people. And we get to meet some new people.
Yeah.
In this one, right at the opening.
Yeah, we get to meet Daddy Bridgerton, which was nice. Edmund.
Don't call him that.
Look, I'm just calling him Daddy because he's their dad. Okay.
That is not why you call him Daddy. That is not why.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Mom. Okay.
Papa Bridgerton.
All right, Papa Bridgerton. Still think Daddy's more fun, but Papa Bridgerton it is. So it's fun seeing him, like flashbacks with Anthony and just some really fun moments. He's teaching Anthony how to shoot, and just good advice. I mean, I think something that sets the whole tone for the show is, when he tells him, like, someone can't see you. What I know that you put the quote in here.
I
exactly, Maureen. You cannot allow someone to see you at your best without seeing them at your worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just setting the whole tone for what's going on. Because, mean, Anthony's only showing Edwina, this perfect gentleman, what he thinks he should be, whereas Kate is getting to see the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how all that goes. So I think it was just a nice little, throwback to what's going on here.
It was, yeah. And even the first thing he says to him when it's not the very first, but it's as they're walking back, and they're talking about how Anthony can't shoot because he's saying all my brothers are gonna make fun of me. Mm-hmm. Because he's a very, very bad shot. But Edmund says, which is Papa Bridgerton, Edmund, he says, it's more about confidence than anything else. You decided that stake was too large to shoot before you even touch the trigger, but you'll learn in time. And I think that that's something that Anthony has almost forgotten about. He's got the air of confidence. And I think he's taken that to the extreme. Like, well, I'm going to be confident with my duties. I'm going to be confident in this, but not allowing anyone to really see who he is. And the other thing I liked is that you see his dad constantly, like, just randomly pulling out his watch and checking it for no apparent reason. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something in the first 2 episodes, Anthony does like every other minute.
Yes.
I wonder why. I want to know the backstory on that.
I think he does it because he saw his dad do it so often. And so he feels so much pressure to be as great as Edmund that he just tried to emulate, especially when he was that new Viscount. I think he tried to emulate everything he remembered Edmund doing.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder why Edmund did it. I wonder if it's like a nervous habit.
Maybe checking the time for how long he was away from his wife because he wanted to be back with his wife.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a sweet answer.
I think that might be it because he was, he took care of all of his responsibilities, but we also know he was very present for Violet and for all the kids. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was how he really was just checking and managing his time well. But yeah, so I mean, that whole moment is nice until they stop to pick flowers for Violet and he gets stung by a bee. And I remember reading this in the book and thinking, are you kidding? Like, he's going to die from a single bee sting? And I mean, I guess it happens.
Because he was really allergic to him and there wasn't like, it's not like EpiPens were available back then.
Yeah. Yep. And you may not even, and the thing with bee stings, you don't know you're allergic until you've been stung by one,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, how awful to just, instantly, here he is, just dies right there in like
in Anthony's arms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was so difficult to watch.
Watching, like reading it and watching it play out are 2 very different things.
I think the reason it's so different watching it and reading it, you got to give it up to Jonathan Bailey. Like, this man and his, like, I don't know.
He's got ridiculous skill.
Ridiculous skill. That was so, I saw, and this is just a little something. I saw this on TikTok. And
no way.
Exactly.
You saw Anthony TikTok?
Right. That's all my FYP is right now. But it was talking about how different like season 1 Anthony is. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. I'm gonna say this correctly. Season 1 Anthony. You missed this the other night. Amanda? Like, I'm
I
gonna make
almost
sure I
wrote it without
pronounce
the H,
Okay.
so we'd remember.
Okay. So season 1, Anthony
Anthony.
was so different than season 2. And somebody
Mhm.
commented, and I'm like, this is true. They had to downplay Jonathan
Mhm.
because otherwise the Duke would not have been able to shine.
Mm-mm.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Simon, but not anymore. I'm like, Simon who? Like,
I know. And I think we'll be surprised like that with every episode because you can see Benedict is,
I hope that they do that everybody
think they
gets their
will.
moment to shine.
Mhm.
yeah, they just like lose the sideburns and then like, oh, I don't know.
But I mean, Jonathan Bailey, and like even when he does Broadway musicals, like you can't
Oh
take
my
your eyes
God.
off that man.
Yeah.
He is insanely talented because
Whole new level.
when in this scene, especially when he's watching, like the expression on his face, it kills you.
Mhm.
He's so good at intoning a facial expression or body language to display what
Yeah.
he's feeling. Like he's so good at that.
So good.
And like the way he made his like head shake when he couldn't believe it was happening. Like it almost was like he was making his body go through tremors. It was the weirdest, most beautiful thing I'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, shout out to Violet too, because I
Mhm.
mean, in those scenes, she's just as great. And
Yeah.
just the way they shot the scene, just how like in the blurred image in the background of
Mhm.
all the other children that, they're obviously small, but I thought it was neat that I could still pick out who was who. Like you could
Yeah.
still like figure it out. I mean, just the way it was shot, I think just made it so heartbreaking.
Mhm. Yeah. And the way when she told him to take care of the other kid, to get the kids out of there, they shouldn't see this.
Mhm.
The way she said the word go, there was so much in that word. I cried in that scene just because of how masterfully done it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like to hear in like the conversation that we hear Violet and Anthony have in these episodes about how this has kind of affected him and how it's affected what he's looking for in his search for a wife, and how he doesn't want to fall in love. And the reason behind that is that he doesn't want to ever possibly leave someone feeling the way that Violet felt after losing Edmund. I mean,
But I feel like that was a lot bigger in the books.
that's what I was saying on the
Mhm.
Like in the
last
show,
one.
we barely hit on that.
Mhm. It's just this one
that's a huge
conversation where they
part.
hit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge part in the book, and we just didn't.
Well, and it was a huge part that him and Kate bond over in the books.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't even get brought up to Kate as to why. So it bugs me that we left a lot. There's other things that I'm sure we'll talk about later that bug me about that get left out between their conversations too.
Mm.
Yes.
And I think it's like there are two key things I think that were in that conversation. One is where she talks about how, look at your father. You talk about responsibility, you talk about how this is your duty, but your father did that and still loved. And that's when he talks more of that. But the other thing that she talks about is who he used to be before his father's death. But what she doesn't realize, because I don't know if she ever, this conversation, the look on her face as he's telling her this stuff, it was the first time she ever even knew this was an issue.
Yeah.
When he said, you were barely even there after he died. And yet I'm cursed to remember every single moment. The look on her face is almost like complete shock.
Yeah.
That was how he viewed it. And because it's how it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She
And
was
maybe
so
she-
desperately sad and depressed about it.
Yeah. And maybe she never realized how much, probably not even just him, probably the other kids too,
Mhm.
witnessed what she was going through. Maybe she thought she hid it better and that
Mhm.
she was getting through it. And obviously
Well,
wasn't
I
the case.
think as we see him as the new Viscount, I think that we see that Anthony shielded his siblings from most of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made it seem like she wasn't, because he handled it. He was there. It was immediately thrust upon him. And he did it well because he cared so much. And I think in those first couple of years, as he waited for his mom to come out of it, I think there was less pressure for him because he's probably thinking, okay, she's gonna come out of it. She's gonna come out of it. And then the longer she didn't, the more he felt all the pressure weighing down on him.
Mm-hmm.
I think certainly in the first scene we get of Anthony after his dad dies, and it's all, and I love how this was shot. The decision to film like this way was brilliant, because you see all the servants and all the people coming up to him asking all these questions after question after question after question. And the one that the first one he responded to was, what room would you like to move her to? Why would we need to move her? Well, you're the Viscount now. That's your room now. She has to leave that room. And the idea of that horrified him. And then you have her maid who is coming over to him saying, it's bad. She went into labor early because she's grieving so hard. All of these things, Jonathan Bailey mastered that scene because he just looked like a little boy, so completely overwhelmed with these responsibilities. And when the servant said, you're the Viscount now, it was like he was hit with a brick.
Yeah. Those scenes stressed me out because one, I was like, what do you expect him to do about her being like upset? Her husband just died in her arms. Like, of course she's upset. We know it's not good for the baby, but what can we do? And then also, like, I mean, I get that those are his quarters now, that's where he gets to stay because he's the Viscount, but like, can we give her a minute? Like,
right?
Does she have to move out that night? I mean,
as she's wailing on the stairs in labor, get out now.
Give her a couple weeks and then we can like move her out. You know,
let's go. Violet gets a stepping.
Pack your bags, girl.
Honestly, with how much she loved her husband, do you think she's going to want to stay in that room where she slept with him every single night of their entire married life?
Right.
Does she? Does he? Does he ever go into their quarters?
He probably does.
I don't know, but I really like how you got to that question.
Does he? Do he?
I'm just like thinking. I'm like, I just can't remember. Did we ever see him move into her quarters?
I don't really ever address it again, other than just saying the question there. But I mean, we do see her in a bedroom. I assume it's that one because she's giving birth. So I assume, and then you got to think, after Anthony watches his mother go through this in that room, do I really want that room?
No.
And she even says that the Viscount is a child. He came from this very body in this very room. And for me, I don't think they changed the mattress since I was born. So I'm not sure. I want to stay here.
That's such a mom thing to say. Like, I birthed this child. Like, I don't care how big he is now, you know, like.
Exactly. That's his mama.
And again, it's a testament to Violet. What is the actress's name?
I don't know. I was trying to
remember what her name was. But she did a scene so good where she was wailing and crying and saying that Edmund should have never left her. And the questions here that Anthony is being asked, absolutely horrifying for anybody, let alone this boy who just lost his father like 3 hours ago. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but not that long ago.
Yeah.
Saying, what do you have us to do? And Anthony clearly doesn't understand the question.
No
idea what he's asking.
Isn't he like 19 or something? Of course he doesn't.
Yeah, he's a baby.
Yes. It's not like his mom was like, you know what, Anthony, someday you're going to want to view this. So come on in here while I birth this baby. Come watch.
Yeah,
no. It didn't happen. And the doctor, I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yes.
When he said something along the lines of, it is not your decision to make, it's the Viscount's decision. Excuse you.
That blew my mind. Even though I know that's probably accurate.
Yes.
But like, it bothers me that you're telling me that you could decide to choose my child and just let me die. Like, I mean, this should
choose to kill my child and let me live after I just lost my husband.
Which I won't admit, that conversation was it strange with Violet? Like the wording of her like conversation, because the way she said it, I'm like, so what would Edmund have chose? Because she's like, I know what he would have picked because he loved me. I'm like,
she said it wouldn't have been a conversation because he would have trusted her to make the decision.
Okay, so that's what she meant, because I was like, gosh, would he have just chosen?
That's how I took it.
I was really stressed, and I'm like, and is she okay with that? Like,
yeah, because he loved her so much that he wouldn't have even hesitated to say, what do you want? It wouldn't have been anything they would have had to talk about. It would have been Violet's decision, endgame.
Yeah, which is the right decision.
Yeah, and then
it should be a mutual, but.
What really ticked me off is when Anthony said whatever she wants, and the doctor was like, are you serious? And he's like, yes, do whatever she wants. And then the doctor says, we'll try the best to save them both. Shouldn't that have been your plan from the beginning?
You would think.
Isn't that plan A?
You would think so, right?
Why is that now your plan? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What were you planning right now? We were just going to kill the baby and just get it over with? Like,
apparently.
We're Hyacinth, right?
And I do like that we catched while I really like these flashbacks. I like them a lot because I think they gave a depth that the book gave, which I did appreciate, because there's a lot of things that are missing from the book that I wish weren't. So to have these flashbacks gave us that little bit of depth from the books that I was craving. But as Anthony's walking up to the room, and we have to point out, obviously it's thunderstorming. which is not as big of a deal as it should be, but it was thunderstorming.
Thank you.
And while it's thunderstorming, we see Daphne singing to Eloise in the room. And that was mentioned in season 1. And if you read the books, it was in the books too. But I like that they put that in there, because I remember hearing that. It was before I read the books when I watched season 1, and they were talking about Hyacinth's birth, and Daphne said something along the lines of, "Remember I sang to you," because her screams are so loud. And so as Anthony was walking with his mom, we saw Eloise and Daphne, and I thought that was neat.
A little nice touch.
Agreed.
That they brought that back.
And then, of course, the saddest part of all this, and the reason, and I think this more so shaped Anthony than anything else, other than, seeing his dad die in his arms. But when Violet, he asked her to come to family dinner, and she was saying, "I'm trying my best." And I wrote down the quote. She said, "Every day I get up, I get dressed, I feed myself, I try to breathe in and out. I force myself to stop by the nursery." And then she says, when she sees Hyacinth, all she can think of is that Hyacinth will never see these things of Edmund. She'll never get to know him. And then she says that most of all, what she thinks is that this little baby did not do me the kindness of killing me so I could be with my husband.
Oh, wasn't that just
saying that to one of her 8 children? I think, and you saw Anthony's face, Anthony. You saw Anthony's face. And his eyes just closed, and he bowed his head when she said that. Like, he was so devastated to hear that.
Yeah.
And I think that was the moment he's like, "I'm never, ever, ever doing this." Because she even said, Edmund was the air I breathed, and now there's no air. Like, oh my gosh.
I mean, who would want to get married after that?
Right? It sounds terrible.
The reason he's thrown himself into this is because he was forced in those moments. I mean, she, not only was Edmund gone, but she was gone too.
Yeah.
He was forced to just take on everything,
including parent.
No time for anything else.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
And luckily he had a steward, and his dad probably showed him how to do the Viscount stuff. But I mean, you have 7 younger siblings that it now clearly rests on you to raise, influence, lead out, take care of. Not only that time was the man of the house automatically in charge of everything anyway, but you have an absent mother and a dead father, and your kid, these children who probably don't clearly understand what happened because they were trying to protect them from that at that time, because that's just what you did then. You have to ensure their happiness. So all Anthony's focus was likely focused on their happiness, completely neglecting his own as he's getting more and more overwhelmed, clearly panicking at every step of the way.
Yeah.
Because there's no one there to help him other than the steward. And that's not his father. That's not his mother. I do like that we so seamlessly move from these flashbacks of the new Viscount. And I really do like the cinematography and the blurred edges. I like how that looks. But we go right from there to current Viscount at Aubrey Hall as well. We get to see all that, the way life has changed at Aubrey Hall. I like that these 2 episodes were actually all at Aubrey Hall, all of it.
Yeah. I know. It was just as beautiful as they described in the books. I will give them that.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I always love Bridgerton, like their scenes, the vibrant colors, and it's just so beautiful and so pretty. And Aubrey Hall just outdid itself. But we also get to see Daphne with the little baby. What's his name?
Augie. What do you think? Is that short for something?
I think August.
Yes.
Maybe.
I can't remember what they named their kids.
Well, because in the books it's supposed to be Amelia because it's supposed to be a girl, but
she said Augie is what she said when she.
I'm guessing August maybe is his name.
August, or what's Augustus?
Oh yeah, maybe Augustus. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think of like an older name. What's like one of the older names that could be short for August?
But I loved, I don't know, I caught, because my attention's always on Anthony. When he came in, even he kind of leaned over to little Augie and was kind of, everyone was excited to see Augie except for Eloise. When they said, "Eloise, come see," and she's like, "Why? Is he different?
Has he changed since I last saw him?"
Eloise, come on.
And then she gives it to her and she holds him like this. Yeah, very far from her body.
I loved it. It was very on point for Eloise.
I mean, even Colin was able to grab him with a modicum of comfort and calm the kid down right away.
They all were, except Eloise.
I do love Eloise.
I do love her too.
She got on my nerves a little bit this season because of how they rewrote her character, but I do like Eloise.
She's funny though.
Honestly, what I most like about her is how neurotic she is. That's my favorite part about Eloise.
Agreed. And Daphne, when she wants to meet Edwina, she was like absolutely shocked that Anthony has invited someone like to spend time with him.
I love that. I love how amazingly shocked she was.
And then Anthony asked her and she says she'll help. Is that a threat or a promise?
Right?
He talks to all the siblings, right? Tells them to woo her.
I mean, if you're Anthony Bridgerton and you have to ask your entire family to help woo a girl, maybe that's not the right girl.
It's not the right
Maybe
girl.
it's not the right girl because it shouldn't have been the right girl.
It wasn't the right girl. And Daphne realizes that like immediately. And I love that she picked up on this because she even walks up to Kate and was like, "Oh, you must be Edwina." She was like,
face
"No."
when she said that. She didn't even say anything for a minute. She just stared at her wide-eyed. It was
she could feel the tension.
He was like, no.
But did you notice like when they got there, like Anthony like barely even like looked at Edwina and
he didn't say anything to her.
No, he just goes straight to Kate and like, why is no one else noticing this? He should have went straight to Edwina to like greet her.
He even tells Kate that he's pleased he can impress her.
Yes.
And if you're trying to impress like a father, I get that aspect. But you don't say it like that. You're just trying to impress the guardian.
I mean, like, guys, he's not even being slick about this.
No.
And like, how people don't notice, he's not being secretive. She's not being secretive. I mean, she's staring at him exactly the same way he's staring at her. Like, this is not a secret.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely see Violet sees it.
I think Violet is more confused. I think she wants him to be with the one he declared because it would be easy and she could see a match there. But I think at first she's just confused over what's happening because she does get it. But Daphne is immediately, but I think it's because Daphne had the exact same tension with Simon and she just got married a year ago. And she's seen this exact same tension with Anthony and Kate. And she's, I recognize that. That's the wrong one. But I feel like how when they're walking in the house and Eloise tells Kate to prepare for battle. And Kate's like, I knew I would like you. Again, choose the right woman, Anthony.
Yeah, choose the woman that fits in with your family so perfectly.
She does. I really put a lot of pressure on this Pall Mall game.
Me too. This was like the one scene y'all couldn't mess up for me.
Yes. I needed this scene to be perfect. And I was like, if he does not get that pink one,
yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have issues.
Yeah.
And they did it. And I was like, yes.
I love his reaction to it, like his hand movements, the look on his face, everything.
It was done great. I loved it.
Colin says, you once threatened to beat me to death if I even touched the mallet. You exaggerate.
And you know he did.
I'm sure he did, right? I mean, like this whole game is like showing like that Edwina, you do not fit in. No. Like she can't handle the banter. She can't, like even Daphne, who is probably, I mean, if we're going to compare someone, is a little bit like Edwina in a lot of ways. But she can still handle herself in the middle of this game, whereas Kate is like jumping right into it, like she's perfect, like she's been with these people her entire life.
Yeah.
No, you could definitely see here that Edwina needed to go.
She was bugging me in this Pall Mall game too. Like, that is so whiny.
Did she play in the book, or if she did, like she wasn't as like.
She did, but it refocused on Anthony and Kate quickly because they veered off course by destroying each other's chances.
I was because I don't remember her being so like weird, and I was trying to remember.
So whiny.
I don't think she left. She might have left early, but I remember that she was frustrated at Kate for hitting Anthony's ball, or not frustrated with him, but was kind of like tormenting her about it. I love when they're explaining the rules even. And Edwina's like, isn't this supposed to be fun? And Kate's got a big smile on her face. She's like, yes, this sounds exciting. This is fun. And she picked up on even the rules of it right from even before they started playing. I do love after Edwina and Kate picked their mallets, the way all the other Bridgertons dove for that mallet pile.
Well, they didn't want the pink one.
No,
you know? Like,
super. And that was really accurate to the book too. I like that.
Them in the, I don't know, out in the mud was probably my favorite like was just so perfect in that they go stomping out there like together. And then of course neither one of them want to get in the mud. And of course Kate, she's like, fine, just lifts her little like dress up and just stomps right on out there.
I love when she gets stuck.
Yeah. And then of course Anthony's face, even before he has to go out there, when he sees her, he's like, I mean, you just see it's all over his face. He's like, crap, now I have to, because like she's going out there in the mud. Like I can't not, you know.
Yep.
I thought that scene was nice because we talked about earlier how, was it Daphne that told him like you don't even smile anymore, or whoever it was, and then
I think it was Violet, maybe
it was one of the two that was talking about how he doesn't smile, and then when they fall down that mud and they're laughing, this is like one of the first moments that we really seen Anthony like a genuine like happy. He is like,
yeah,
I don't know, I was like, there it is, you know. I mean, she can make you smile like that, you know.
And even in the midst of all the teasing and all the tormenting, because early when they're picking the mallets, she says, I know some men cannot perform without their familiar tools, like a child with a blanket. Like that's a direct insult. And even through all that, she is still the one who can bring out that side of him. And the other thing too is it almost seemed like Colin was playing a little bit of matchmaker in there, because he intentionally, but I couldn't tell, like part of me, I didn't notice until the second time I watched it, that is he playing matchmaker or is he just trying to torment Anthony?
Well,
I couldn't tell.
I don't know either. I mean, like, I like to think, but it's because we've read the books. Like, I feel like I said, Colin is the one that makes the introduction of the two. And I feel like all of the Bridgerton siblings are seeing this already by this point.
Yeah.
So, but in the show, that's not happening. So I don't know. It's just, maybe
because they're sort of mocking him at every turn, every time Kate does something that torments him, because they can tell Anthony's being tormented. And so it wasn't, but the look on his face after he hit her ball right after Anthony's, part of me thought, is that what they're trying to convey? Because they didn't make it clear at all. They made it so it could go either way.
Yeah.
But Daphne is the one who we're certain of, because as soon as Colin does that, Daphne looks very concerned, very, very concerned. And she notices the tension, obviously, because she notices every moment of the tension. And this is right around the time when Edwina hits her ball a little too far, and then she decides to give up playing. I don't know, but here's the other thing I couldn't tell. Is it because she was afraid to go there and get it, or is it because she's a spoiled sport?
I think she just wasn't enjoying the kind of banter that they were doing. I just think it wasn't her thing. And so she just took that as a moment to like bow out. Which is fine.
She's just afraid almost.
I think she just wasn't enjoying herself. I think she didn't care for the way they were like giving each other a hard time. And so
I think she felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, so there's nothing wrong with that, but it definitely showed that like you weren't meant to be a part of this family. Like this is not gonna work. Here. I mean, you want to go have tea with the mamas, you know, I mean, like cool, but
I did like their rare moment of truce though, because that was brought out by the laughter, by the joy there. And Anthony finally says, what do I have to do? And he's completely, there's no artifice, there's no tactics he's using. He's just asking an honest question. And I love that she says, I'm not withholding it out of spite. I'm not. And this comes back later on, because here she's basically saying, I don't hate you. I don't dislike you, which is very different from what she says in episode 4. Right. But here she says, I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm not doing it because I hate you. I'm doing it because I want the greatest amount of happiness for my sister. Yeah. And you can understand that because you're worried about your sisters too. We're doing the same thing. Yeah. But I like that at the end of that truce. And it comes out because he had joy. He had a moment of joy with her. And that's what it came out of, because she was able to see a different side of him that wasn't artifice, that wasn't pretending, that wasn't, because she can tell he's putting on a show for Edwina. She can see it. Because in this short amount of time, she already knows him well enough, because they've had more interaction than Edwina and Anthony have. Yes. So she agrees that he gets to know Edwina more. And that's all she agrees to.
Of course, then it's right after that, though, that isn't that where his ball got hit over by like his father's grave, and she wants to go get it. And of course, it's a very abruptly, like, he's just like, game's over. Because I guess we hear Daphne yell out that she's won, you know. But
I don't think I heard her yell that.
Yeah, she yells out like she won. And that's why Kate says, well, what'd she say? She'll be something at dinner. Like, she's basically making a joke, like she's going to be.
That line confused me so much. I didn't understand why she was saying that. I didn't even hear Daphne say anything.
Yeah, Daphne yells out that she won.
I was staring at Anthony's grieved face.
Oh, I was wondering what you were staring at. Nancy.
He
I know where that was
sat
going.
there staring wide-eyed, grief-stricken at this gravestone, and Kate was just left like looking between nothing and him and trying to desperately figure out, and then he just walked away.
No, sad though.
That's very sad.
I was thinking of, I wish we would have seen the reactions of the siblings as Anthony walked back there full of mud, though.
I know.
What I wanted to see. Yeah.
I was looking forward to that.
Benedict especially, I was looking forward to. So we do kind of see that Benedict is worried about his application. He comments to Colin that it doesn't compare to his travels, but Colin, poor dumb Colin, tries to help Benedict. Well, poor dumb Benedict too. Colin tries to help him by giving him just a little bit of some magical powder that he found in his travels that eases your anxiety and stress. Benedict takes a drink and he's like, what is this going to do? And Colin tells him all the benefits. So Benedict dumps the entire package into his tea. And when Colin tries to intervene, he holds up his hand and then he pounds it back. And he's like, that was awful.
And there he goes.
I mean, it made for like the most amusing part of probably all of the episodes.
See, I remember all that part now.
I can't even remember what everybody says, but I know Eloise is just like, I mean, you can tell she knows something's up, and she said, like,
"What's wrong with you?"
That whole dinner was a little bit awkward.
I mean, it starts with Benedict saying, I love Violet's face when he's saying this stuff too. Violet has no idea what to do with herself. And Kate is sitting directly across from him. So she's like, what is happening? what does he say? He's like, oh, with the candlelight in here, it's like we're letting under the stars. And Colin is just losing it.
So funny.
And then when he knocks over the wine and he just slouches and he like slaps himself in the face and he's
I mean, it was just the best. Oh my God.
Oh, I can't wait till Benedict's season.
Exactly. I love him so much.
Yeah.
But I do, that dinner was super, super awkward and weird. And
well, Anthony didn't help with his like.
But that wasn't Anthony's fault though, because Lady Danbury, she said, Violet asked for a toast just to entertain their guests. And then Lady Danbury said, or to attend to pressing matters. So she called everyone's attention to the fact that Anthony might be proposing to Edwina right there.
But Anthony didn't have to say, Edwina, I have a question for you.
You're right. He did not have to say that.
He didn't have to say that. I mean,
it was so awkward.
Oh my goodness. Because he was ready to until he like, I mean, he looked at Kate and he was like, no, I can't do this.
Yep.
And I mean, there was a point before he gets up to get the toast where Edwina is talking to him on his left and he is very advertently doing this. She's over here. He's doing this, looking down at Kate. He's not even like pretending to show her his face. His head is completely turned from her, staring at Kate. And he has a grin on his face while he strokes his chin and stares at Kate.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Edwina, I'm sorry, you deserve that. You were dumb. You deserve that.
She's an idiot. I mean,
Everybody
I don't.
saw it.
Yeah.
Daphne was so uncomfortable. She was so uncomfortable. She kept looking from Kate to Anthony like the whole time. Super uncomfortable.
Oh.
I mean, the man's not even pretending.
No, he's not.
You like
he's so dumb.
After he asked,
he's dumb too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
right now he's dumb.
He can't help it.
Where we are right now, he's being dumb.
Did you say he's being a dumb?
He's being dumb.
I do like that after he asked her this question to not tell anybody else in London of his loss. Kate is the only one who's like, okay, I'm ready to return to eating. And everybody else at the table is so horribly uncomfortable, except for Kate, who literally just goes back to eating. Takes a deep breath and she's good now.
Yeah, she didn't want him to ask.
I felt bad for Violet.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Violet too. But honestly, at that moment, that's when Anthony should have known. That shouldn't have actually been the moment. It should have been a little later. But I'm just saying, in the show, if they want to go this way, that should have been the moment.
Mm-hmm.
At least a little bit after that. Not be a dumb like he did the next morning.
be a dumb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him all the names right now because he made me mad. He made me disappointed. I could never be mad at that face.
I'll give you that.
He disappointed me.
And I mean, when Daphne is describing to Anthony when they're in the library, describing to what it was to really love someone, the whole speech about how you feel, bursting into flames. I mean, he's clearly not thinking of Edwina.
No.
No.
And that was even before the dinner when Daphne said that to him.
I mean, Daphne is giving him every opportunity to realize what is going on, and she's laying it out there,
Mm-hmm.
and he's choosing to ignore it. Because I'm not going to say he doesn't realize, because I think he does realize. He's just choosing to ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
He's choosing Edwina because he knows he would have a love marriage with Kate.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he'll never love Edwina.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason.
But he knows that he'll live comfortably. Because I mean, when they have that private talk, they get along.
Yeah, when they start talking about books, I mean, Edwina, like they get along fine. Like, I mean, had Kate not been in the picture, I think this could have worked out just fine.
Would have never been love, because I don't think she's
no.
I don't know.
I mean, I think he could have grown to care for her. It wouldn't have been like a burning, passionate love like it is for Kate. I think he could have grown to love her as the mother of his children.
Yeah.
But nothing more.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Kate doesn't even really like being a spinster, we find out. Because when Eloise asks her about it, she is honest. It's not ideal. She says there's no place in society except for at the edge. She's right for that time period, unfortunately. But I think it made Eloise think too when she said this stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad she was honest, because Eloise has sort of been like glamorizing this whole like, I don't need any of this. And so it was nice for Kate to be like, no, I mean, it's not ideal for anyone to have to live this life, you know?
And I like she was honest with Eloise. I think Eloise needed to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Eloise is smart too. And I think that that's part of her receiving this and like thinking about it more, because she's thinking of how her life would be different. We talked about this in the last episode, how, she might want to live on her own, but it's because she's never had to go without.
Right.
Yeah.
So when she realizes on the fringe of society, what that actually means is no money, no friends, all work, no play. That's not what she said. And she figures out, because she's so smart, she obviously figures out that Benedict is ripped. So when Benedict is painting in his room, that painting actually was really pretty.
It was.
I really liked it.
I did too.
But Eloise calls him out on it. I would hang that in my house. I liked it a lot.
I liked it. I did. I like that type of art though. So.
But Eloise even asked Colin, how long is this going to last? No idea. But this is where Benedict is streaming out the window in the countryside, because he wants every single person that has removed themselves to the countryside to know that they will be, what does he yell at the window? I don't remember what he yells at the window. Oh. Shoot, I should have written it down.
I don't remember that either, but it was funny.
You will all see my masterpiece or be forced to enjoy my masterpiece or something like that. But he's, and then I love when he's at the window and he clutches his heart and he's like, it's like a thanking the Academy speech, but to the sky.
It is.
But Eloise here in her thinking of the spinster, her thinking of her life is going to be, talks to Colin about Marina. Did anyone else think that was a very dumb thing?
I thought this was really stupid, because why did we bring Marina back? What was the purpose of that?
I mean, it depends on what we're doing with Eloise's story. Like, the only reason to bring her back is so that we can actually see Sir Philip Crane and actually like somehow, wait a minute, am I spoiling something?
Did you know
that's the Sir Philip that she marries?
Yes. Crane.
Marina's gonna commit suicide, or I don't know what they'll do like in the story.
I don't think they'll do that, but I think she's
well, I don't know, she's not very happy. I mean, you can tell she's not very happy at the moment. So I don't know what they'll do. But she commits suicide.
That was the guy.
And so she starts writing to Philip Crane as like, it's like a.
Well, I only got to the end of Colin's story. I haven't started any of Eloise's yet.
I thought we spoiled this for you, that you had already met her person. I thought we did. Well,
I knew it was a Sir Philip, but I didn't know the last name.
Yeah.
Oh, well, surprise.
Oh my gosh, this changes like everything.
See, now you watch it like we watch it. Like, because when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, that, like, we finally got like you saw him last season, right?
Yeah, but it was just for a blip.
It was a little
right
tiny
at the
bit
end before he takes Marina away.
So I thought that's what we were doing, that we were setting up for the fact that Marina is obviously very not very happy in her life. And just to show us that he's a good guy and just to see him again, so that we've got that set up.
Well, now I have different feelings about this scene, because before I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why is this in here?
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're definitely right. They're going to have to keep him in there somehow to intertwine him with
Eloise, who tells Colin where she's staying
Mhm.
and sort of encourages Colin to go. So let's talk about Colin at Lady Crane's house.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Colin actually goes there, he's so obnoxious. Like the way he's talking is so pompous.
Yeah.
And he's throwing out all these big words and these big names from Greece. And I was like,
take it down.
Just stop talking.
I hated this scene though, because I didn't like it the first time, and then the second time I watched, I fast forwarded because I don't like Colin and I despise Marina. So there was absolutely no reason for me to watch these scenes. None. I'm like, can we get back to Kate and Anthony, please?
See, I have similar feelings about Colin right now, but I like him during certain parts. I think I'll end up like oh gosh.
I like him only
hoping-
when he's with his siblings. Is the only time I enjoy Colin's character.
Oh, that might be right for me too. I never thought about that. About
Hate
it that
him.
way.
And really the only reason I liked him less is because I read the book and I didn't like him in the book with Penn.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I like it, but it's my least favorite that I've read. I mean,
He was a jerk in the book though.
He's my least favorite Bridgerton by far. Like, and I mean, like all the Bridgertons. Like, I mean, I like Gregory and Hyacinth, and I barely know them better than I do him. So,
but with Marina, he's just like this incredible bore who's pompous and ridiculous. And Sir Philip seems so boring talking about his plants, and he's excited and invites him to stay. And Marina is just so upset at this.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that she kind of puts Colin in his place. Like, what
I did like that.
are you doing?
I did like that.
Mhm.
Because he kept calling her Marina too.
Yeah.
He refused. He called her Lady
Crane.
Crane once, maybe twice, when he said goodbye, when he started with Marina and then went to Miss Thompson and then went to Lady Crane. So he called her twice, but he kept going to her informal name. That's that's not okay. You can't do that to a married woman. You can't do that. That shows too much familiarity. And he kept dropping the name. Yeah. And then he kept inching closer to her. And I love that Marina was basically like, knock it off. I'm not yours. You're not mine. We were barely together. You're in my past. I don't need you. And move forward because you have nothing with me. And I like that she directs him to Penn.
I did like that she threw that in there. It still went completely over his head, and he had no idea what she was talking about.
Penn.
Penelope.
Why Penelope?
So
Colin, could you be more stupid? Like,
what's with these Bridgerton boys?
That's another one. Like, Penn is not, I don't know. She's not like oblivious. I mean, she's not like, she's being completely obvious in her advances too, and he still doesn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Because I mean, like Marina, it feels like she doesn't deserve Philip because she just, I don't know, she just isn't very nice to him. Maybe that's what it is. Because it just like when she mocks him at the table about talking about plants, I didn't, because I like Sir Philip. I don't know why, but I like Sir Philip. He's nice. He didn't have to marry you. He didn't have to save you from the wreckage you made for yourself, but he did. And she's, I don't know, she's just gonna be nice to him. So then I was a little fearful when Colin started talking that, oh God, this is where we're going with this.
Oh, yeah.
But she shut it down. And that was the one redeeming thing that happened from that scene, I thought. But now I get why they included that scene, but it was stupid before tonight.
Well, you're welcome. It's like, be enlightening.
But I mean, we see that the old flame with, Marina and Colin, which we were a little worried about, but then the one that we've been hoping for the whole season, we get another little teaser, because that's almost the entire season is just a teaser of the two of them until like I don't feel like the reward is very high on this. We're just taunted and taunted and taunted. And this episode is like the worst for the taunting.
It's so funny though, because like the taunting, it was driving me nuts. But at the same time, I was loving it. Like it already
said that.
Yeah. Like y'all understand, as I was watching all these scenes, I mean, I was trying to like work and like watch this because I had to watch it all the day. I wasn't that busy that day. It was the day before vacation. And so like I didn't have a lot going on. But I mean, I would literally and I would be like, and like, I swear to God, I stopped breathing from time to time. Like, I don't know, but like that bee sting, this is the scene we're talking about, which this is
here we go.
that I was looking forward to like from the moment I heard we're getting, like, I read this book and I was like, oh my God, this is the best scene ever. For anyone who's read the book, like, you all understand, this is hilarious and romantic and sexy. And I mean, it's everything all rolled in one in the book anyways. The show was still good, not quite as good because it didn't have the funny part to it is the problem.
Or the marriage proposal out of that we were hoping for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing it, I'm like, I think I was texting Amanda. I'm like, wait a minute, we're already at the bee sting? Because this is like episode 3. Like, this feels soon. Like, I was really concerned as to why we're here so soon. But I did like, I mean, we didn't get him trying to suck the venom out of her bosom, which was hilarious, you know. But
I was so wondering how they were going to play that out when I was reading the scene in the book. I was so wondering how it was going to look on screen.
I wanted them to do it, but I did like this too, because it was still, this was another scene that, like, Jonathan Bailey, like, oh my gosh, you're acting like stellar. I mean, he looked so concerned when that bee starts buzzing around her. And I loved how, like, she noticed how concerned he was, and then she instantly, you know, took her hand or his hand and put it so she could.
Well, first when he was expressing her concern, she was annoyed with him.
Yes.
Because he was like, don't move. Don't you tell me not to move.
But I think then when she noticed the look on his face too, she was like, okay, wait,
terror.
He's really upset. And so that's what, you know.
She also put hers on his though too.
So they could both feel like, and I mean, these two are the king and queen of almost kissing.
I know. Oh my gosh,
I don't know how times. You can get, your lips are literally an inch from, you are like breathing each other's air at this point. Probably tasting each other's spit. I mean, you're literally this close to each other and you don't do it. Like, that's the willpower. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how you pulled it off.
What was the noise that they heard that made them stop? What was it? I don't remember.
It was a person of some sort, right? Because I still thought, oh God, somebody saw that, you know, like, and then they did. And so that was disappointing.
It went to the next scene. I was like,
even afterwards when they ran and you see her against the wall, deep breathing, and you see Anthony like leaned over a tree, unable to catch his breath, like dang.
It was because their lips were literally centimeters from each other. Like, a gust of wind would have blown them into each other and they would have been full on making out. This is how close. I mean, like, you're like so close. It was just like, oh my God. But I love them when we jump like to the hunting scene, because when they're sitting there preparing and like it's Anthony and Edwina and Kate, and Edwina's like, Kate, tell Anthony about, you know, whatever, your bee sting.
Did you tell him you were stung?
I was stung.
Oh.
That made me laugh so hard because poor Edwina, you also, I mean, you look like an idiot. Oh my gosh, but it was the best. But he was just like,
because the night before, Edwina had decided that she wants the Viscount, but what she says is, I want his home, his family, and the life he can give me. So she thinks it's Kate and Anthony's hate for each other that's sitting away. So
the opposite.
Yeah, and so she basically forces Kate and Anthony to spend a ridiculous amount of time together, and not just like any amount of time, but doing pursuits that a woman typically doesn't do.
Also, like, one of my favorite scenes when she's like, "Oh, Kate hunts," and he's like, and Benedict. My favorite part is to watch this, to watch Benedict's face, because he's looking at Anthony like, just like, man, you're an idiot. Like, I'm just gonna let you hang yourself. And this is great, and I love it.
And I like there's even one point when Anthony looks at Benedict like, really, right? Benedict says like, nothing.
No, I mean, the only thing he says is at the end, he's like, yeah, come on. He's like, maybe she can show you a little something. You know, like, oh God, it was just the best. But there's another scene when we're out hunting. Like, first of all, Kate, God, I just love Kate so much. With her, like, trying to tell him, like, guys, we're not going to be able to shoot anything. Like, we've lost it. You know, no one's listening to her because Lord knows a woman wouldn't know what she's talking about here.
Heck no.
And she just takes off on her own finally, like, whatever, we're going to go. But that scene where he's teaching her how to hold the gun. Here we are again with, like,
even before that, when she goes to walk over the log.
I was getting ready to bring that. The look on his face when he sees her calf, like, oh my goodness.
That wasn't her calf. That was her thigh.
Well, I guess it was part of her thigh, yeah.
Because her stockings go up to the knee.
That's true.
So a woman would have never even shown her calf, let alone hiked that high up to her thigh. So Anthony was very excited by that.
Poor guy was just, I mean,
poor guy. What about that maid in the background trying to ride that horse?
That maid. He said, what did you tell Benedict to take care of her? Like,
he said, keep her with you.
Poor maid.
Every time we get a shot of that poor maid in the background, I don't feel sorry for Anthony in the scene. I feel sorry for her. She's going to fall off that horse at any
She's
second.
losing it.
That's true.
And then when she's walking through the woods, she can't even walk through the woods without looking like she's going to fall to the earth.
Poor.
She's just taking steps. That's all you're doing.
Oh. But
this is also where we find out that Kate, her dad used to be secretary for the royal family in India, and they would let her hunt there.
Yeah.
So there's some insight into, in the books, Kate and Edwina weren't from India. So they had to create this whole storyline for her coming from there. Yeah. So we at least see why she's such a good shot, because Anthony just had, I think that he will clearly use any excuse to touch her, to smell her, to be near her.
Smell her. I can't wait till we can talk about that. Like,
he smells her here.
Yeah.
This is the first time we see him smelling. I know what you're talking about.
There's another.
This is the first time we see him. This is not the last time. This is the first time we see Anthony.
Smells like lilies. He loves it. Yeah.
It looks creepy to me when men sniff.
Normally it would. I mean, I don't like the idea of any man sniffing me, but like somehow in this scene, I like it.
And see, I don't even like it when Anthony does it.
Anthony can do no wrong. He can do whatever.
That's accurate. That is accurate right there. And he goes there to find her because she's gone off on her own. And then he uses an excuse that he has to teach her, even though he's not a good shot.
No.
Like he knows.
That's what cracked me up.
So this is clearly just a ruse to touch her. That's all it is.
Yeah.
He can't shoot anything.
But it works. Did you see the look on her face when he's like inches from her?
To be fair, I think he was a little more hot bothered than she was.
I think they're both. And I was
certainly.
I'm like, Benedict, go away. Because we almost had a moment.
Well, I think they did have a moment because it started to rain. And when Kate ran back to her room, she was still breathing fairly heavy. And I don't think it was because she ran. Even like while they were out doing their thing and all the women were back except for Kate. She was the only woman not there. All the women are back at the Aubrey Hall, and there's games everywhere. Daphne asking Edwina what she looks for in a match. And clearly Edwina does not know who Anthony is at all, because she says he's so even-tempered, and Daphne's like, Anthony? Are you sure?
Not quite.
We talking about the same person here?
The opposite of even-tempered.
And she thinks that she brings out the best in him, and that's I'm sorry, you don't know anything about him. You're not spending time with him. Your sister's spending time with him, and you think you bring out the best. How do you do that? So she probably tells Daphne her plans for Kate and Anthony, and she thinks it's so brilliant. And she's like, isn't it smart? And Daphne's like, well, it's interesting.
Not quite. Kind of the opposite of smart, but okay.
Also, the games. I love watching Portia and Prudence, because when Prudence wins that game, she just screams out, "Look at me! I won!" She demands it. She says it so loud. You had that form of lady, you had the Edwina and Daphne sort of lady, and then you have the ladies that Eloise is forced to hang out with. Who's like, I love her reaction. He's like, "What, you obey everything your mama say? No wonder you're miserable. Just say no." Yeah. So all right, so we have to talk about the elephant. Well, it's not really an elephant. The big reason that everyone's going up to Aubrey Hall is for the Flowers and Heart Ball, right? That Violet throws out of here. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out about this. One is that Violet knows her guests very well. When she's walking around with Daphne saying what to put in every person's room, how do you remember all that stuff?
She's the perfect Viscountess, you know?
It's crazy good. And Daphne's shadowing her the whole way.
But she's learning from her mama.
And this is where Daphne and Violet realize they hardly know Edwina, and they kind of both realize that this is what Anthony wants, because obviously they're sensing something. And so Daphne alludes that Edwina only being one who does the right things at the right time for the right purpose. And she even says what we said last night, or not last night, on our last Bridgerton episode, that it's not who she envisioned Anthony was, because he's a Bridgerton after all. Doesn't he need a challenge? He doesn't need perfection. He needs someone who is going to present him with the challenge. And this whole time they're talking, Kate is out hunting with Anthony.
Challenging him every step of the way.
But this is because of this conversation with Violet. Daphne goes and talks to Anthony and says, is there really no one you share similarities with? She's trying to get him to lean towards Kate, but what she's actually doing is the opposite.
Yeah.
Because the more she points out how much he would be good with Kate, how much they would go well together, how much they suit each other, the more he's going to be obstinate and not marry because he doesn't want to fall into that trap.
I know.
But he does say, I miss the Duke. You're more meddlesome with him gone. The other thing that happens at the ball too that I want to talk about is Eloise and Lord Morrison. That dude was, he was dumb.
He was really dumb.
Okay, what benefit is going to come from you insulting an entire sex of the woman you're trying to make a match with? How is that going to suit you?
Yeah.
Penn did not save her though.
No.
Penn had every opportunity to save her. Penn almost shoved her to the dance floor. And then she laughed at Eloise the whole time.
It is funny.
I felt bad for Eloise after that though, after she got so emotional, she said to her mama, and which I hated that for Violet too, because it's like, I don't think Violet's disappointed in you in any way
at all.
She's just.
But that's why Eloise struggles to fit into the world. And I think Violet kind of sees that, because Violet says, I invited him specifically for you because of his radical ideas. But I think Violet feels like she doesn't fit into this world because she shouldn't have those ideas, is what her thinking is.
Yeah.
But Violet accepts her and those ideas, and that's why she's looking for a match for her. But Eloise is so interned, and we talked about this in the last one too, that she's very tunnel vision. She's so, when she internalizes it, it's, I'm not good enough because I have these ideas. And it's not how Violet feels. So I think Violet was as grieved for her. She was at that moment. She didn't even, like Eloise, when she ran away crying, didn't even accept Penn to go with her. And this is when we see Colin come back from Marina's, and she asks how Marina is, whatever. And he says that if Lady Whistledown and so just setting up the Whistledown thing even more and I think that's the route they're going to try to go. You're creating tension between Colin and Penelope with Lady Whistledown. Yeah. Saying if she hadn't printed it, Marina's life would be different. But was he alluding to the fact that he would be with Marina then? Was he saying that would be better for him?
I don't know. I don't know what his obsession with Marina is. I see no chemistry between them at all.
But with Colin, I feel like they wrote him very confusing. Yeah. Because even on the Palm Malta, like we couldn't tell what his intent was. And then here, couldn't tell really what he was saying by saying that. Was he saying that it would be better for Marina, she'd be happy? Or was he saying that he would be with her so he would be happy?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing that we need to talk about with the Sharmas. Oh, that was close. Sharmas. The Sharmas is Newton.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't talked about Newton. Newton hates Anthony.
When they first got there, and what did she say? He's an excellent judge of character. And Anthony went to pet him and he growled. She's like, see? I love it.
See, I wish we got more Newton, because I love the interactions with Anthony and Newton in the books. That was so much fun in the books.
We only got two, because there's the only other one we get in these two episodes is when Newton is laying on the floor and Anthony can see him through the open doors. And he's all excited going to go for him, and you just hear him growl. And that's it. That was it. That was the only thing we get from him. That's it.
Yeah, that's all we have right now. Yeah, I know.
That was a little disappointing. I wanted the whole chase.
Me too.
Wait, the what? Remind me of the chase. What is the chase?
The chase where Newton he falls in the water because of that.
I don't remember Anthony falling in the water in the book.
Yeah, it's because he's Newton takes off, and him and Kate have to chase after him, and that's when
yeah.
That was when they're still in London, right? That wasn't that was still in London.
And then, of course, after Kate returns from the hunting trip, Edwina is weirdly waiting up for her. And pounces on her the moment she comes in and says, "Did you finally warm up to him?"
We warmed up to each other, all right.
Yep.
And got pretty hot, actually.
Edwina, dummy that she is, says, keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
Every time she
Oh,
kept
Edwina
opening
did
her
that.
mouth, I'm like, stop.
You just deserve this loss so much. You absolutely deserve the loss of this and the pain of this. But this is when the storm happens.
Yeah.
I continue.
And there's
What storm?
the 3 things of thunder and the 0 lightning. That storm.
What was
that barely even unsettled Kate, and she should have been hiding under a table. Like,
Yes.
Here's the other thing, though. They didn't make it seem like she was unsettled because of the storm, because they would go from her laying in bed to Anthony laying in bed, her lying in bed, Anthony. So it made it seem like it was the tension between the 2 of them that kept her up.
Yes.
Well, and she even says about like the thunder, it's not because her father used to read to her during the monsoons. It's because her mother, the night her mother died, it was like a crazy thunderstorm outside.
Yep.
Like, that's the whole, well, you change the story. Like, she's terrified of thunderstorms.
I just don't know why they changed it.
That was probably the story or the change that bugged me more than anything, more than the bee sting, because the bee sting at least still got us some of the same effect. This was supposed to be a huge moment in their growth and in their relationship, and it was
not.
It was still a good scene. Like, I'm not gonna lie about like plenty of good tension, lots of almost kissing yet again. Like, I mean, it was a good scene, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, because they made the whole thing more about sexual tension than they did about fear or about trauma. And the trauma is what binds them together, really.
Yeah.
And there wasn't, because even when she's standing on the ladder with the candle, like, thunder's happening, she's not reacting. The only time she reacts is when she goes over and stands by the window and then once takes a deep breath. Like, is that it? That's how uncomfortable you are?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then that's when she says that. And this is also where Anthony tells her how his father died. And I liked that part about it.
Yeah,
I liked her reaction to Dad died with one bee sting, and I like how Anthony said it. I like how Anthony said it. That's really difficult.
I know.
This American bastardizing the English language. Sorry.
We're trying.
But then again, it's thunder. The last time it was a bee or a person that kept them from kissing. This time it's thunder that keeps them from kissing. And later on, do we want to move into the dance sequence?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because Edwina, again, dummy. How stupid are you? I mean,
even after, like, okay, they get on the dance floor. I mean, like, she's watching and just smiling like an idiot, like thinking this is like the greatest thing ever. Are you seeing the way they're looking at each other? Are you seeing their hand placements? Like even in the middle of the dance floor, I feel like their lips are inches from each other. I mean, like,
nobody else is dancing that close. Nobody.
No, because it's inappropriate, to be honest.
Nobody called him out.
Nobody. I mean, Daphne sees it. Even Lady Danbury kind of sees it. Like, hold on.
That's the one thing that bugged me about Lady Danbury's character in the season. Where was her intuition this whole time?
I know.
Exactly.
I didn't really like Danbury this season.
It took this dance for her to see, we're having some trouble here. And that was it.
I feel like she should have known more.
Daphne and Simon, like, long before this last season.
Yeah.
Maybe that was because she was so close to Simon, though.
Maybe.
She knew.
But I have so many expectations for Lady Danbury.
I do too.
She's very high up on a pedestal for me, so she should be better than this.
Yes.
I agree.
And this is where their questions, like, we see Anthony, oh my goodness. We see Anthony get very disturbed because she says, are you going to do you have a question to ask me about your sister? And she asks him if he can make her happy. He says, do you think I can make her happy? That's a question for you to have. And then he says nothing. And then she says, basically, if your silence is any sign that you're rescinding. And he says, do you want me to rescind? Without missing a beat.
Everything he is like, basically, like, he is wanting her to say that she wants him, and he is going to give it all up. I think all he needs to know is that, I mean, I think at this point he's changed. At this point, he's like, if you will give me any inclination, this is where we're going to go. He's willing to give this all up. Like,
but here's the thing, though. It's because I don't think he realizes he's in love with her yet. I think he realizes that he wants her.
Yeah.
So he's willing to give it up if it's just a want. If we can just have passion without love, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because we see after she tells him, I'm going back to India, and he was like, excuse me, what? You're gonna leave? You're gonna abandon your sister?
The hurt on him is just so like, oh, I mean,
and then it's so bad that he has to leave the room.
mm-hmm.
And that is what Edwina notices. You didn't notice anything before that? You didn't.
Nothing.
I mean, they left before the dance was done, and she says, "What did he say to you?" And Kate goes to chase after him. How about Kate? Excuse me. What is going on there?
Yeah,
I just
nothing.
Honest to God, that woman deserves to be left at the altar. 100%. She does. I'm sorry, she does. That's completely on her.
I agree.
Yes.
Just a dummy.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so this is when Kate follows him to the room. Like, Kate, what was your think? How did you think this was going to play out?
Yeah.
How did you see this playing out in your head?
I don't think no one is thinking. They are just acting.
Because she even closes the door. When she goes in the room, the first thing she does is closes the door. Even Anthony the night before in the library left the door open.
Yes.
Kate closed the door. My only note on there was, why do people keep letting this happen? They're all watching them walk off. They all see them, but why do you people keep letting this happen?
Blinders.
It's kind of their fault that they have another almost kiss. And this is where it comes back again, because Anthony says, it's because you hate me. And she says, yes, I hate you. But in Pall Mall, she confesses, I don't hate you. I'm not doing this because I don't like you. So he obviously knows this is what's happening, that she wants him as much as he wants her. And he says, I'm a gentleman at least 8 times.
He's trying to convince himself.
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
And he asks her what she feels, and she can't even verbalize it. And that's when Daphne walks in.
Boy, at least they got caught by Daphne.
I mean, I'm more disappointed in the people who walk in far too late than I am in Kate and Anthony for getting there. Because that's natural that they're going to get there. It's you dummies who keep leaving them alone and don't watch them. I mean, clearly, you should be watching them.
He's a 30-something-year-old man. He knows better.
Yes, but he's a 30-something-year-old man.
True.
Back in Regency times.
True.
So I like that Daphne has to pour herself a very strong drink. Like immediately.
But then Anthony has to drink it too. Doesn't he pour himself a couple and shoot those back real quick?
Yep, he does. And this is where Daphne says, be honest with yourself. These feelings always come to the surface. And he has to ask her, what feelings are you talking about? She says, love. And this is where he made the firm decision that I know what I have to do. And the next day, he proposes to Edwina.
Anybody else's mind blown when he just did that?
Yeah.
Just thinking, oh my gosh.
Yes, because I was in the books first.
That's
There's no way. Like this whole time, I'm like, okay, they're not going to get far. They're not going to. Okay, they got farther than they should have. They're not going to get any farther. Every single time something else kept happening.
Yes.
That was my response. They're going to stop before it gets there. There's no way. There's no way.
Just kept going. I'm like, what am I doing?
For a minute there, I thought they were. I mean, I was like, are we really getting married, guys? Like, are we actually going to do this?
That's actually what I thought. Like, oh man, that's going to be a really difficult affair to explain to your sister when you're sleeping with her husband. I mean,
I was confused.
And so Lady Danbury has that conversation with Kate on the balcony because she realizes in this dance there's something there. And Lady Danbury, she does have good advice here. I mean, it's the first time she's given good advice this season because I don't know where she's been, but she's clearly has. And even when they were playing Pall Mall, like Lady Danbury was in it. She was examining it closely. She should have picked up on something during Pall Mall. Everybody else did. There is a time when Lady Danbury asked Kate if she's been enjoying her time alone with the Viscount. And I think it was actually as innocent as Edwina. I don't. So I think that now when Lady Danbury sees this dance, she has to be rethinking every interaction she's had with Kate and running down everything she said, everything she's advised, because I think that she was almost on board with Kate going off with Anthony too. And then she's like, oh crap, what have I done?
Right. That wasn't a good idea.
No. So she has this talk with Kate on the terrace and asks her why she's so close to getting what she wants and what Edwina wants. Why is she getting in the way? Trying to prompt Kate to be like, hey,
figure it out. Yeah.
Think about this.
Yeah.
And Kate, like Anthony, has no idea.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what these feelings are because she's never felt it for anybody before.
Well, I almost think I think Kate may even know, but Kate is so focused on, she can't mess anything up for Edwina. Like, I don't think she necessarily wants her to be with Anthony. but she's not going to be the reason that it doesn't happen.
That's true. But I mean, do you think that there's a little bit of her that is genuinely confused about what she's feeling? Because she's feeling, clearly she's feeling lustful things that she's never felt before. So she might not fully understand what that is either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, for her, it is love. And Lady Danbury tells her to be honest with her sister. And she keeps saying about the Viscount, about whatever it is you feel, just be honest. So it kills me that Kate is just about to tell Anthony how she feels about him. And he walks right past her. Roasted agreement. Like,
I was so frustrated in that moment. Like, I mean, so frustrated. I was like, what the are we doing?
I could not believe they let it get that far. I was completely floored.
Me too.
I was at that point, I was like, okay, this isn't even the book anymore. I don't
know what's going on.
I have no idea what's happening right now. And Violet and Daphne are both horrified by this. They're horrified.
Yeah, because they all saw that dance. They saw what was going on.
Kate and Anthony just look sad. Both of them just look sad. And stupid Edwina is so caught up in this fake relationship that she's so happy. Yes, of course I'll marry you. Even Penn is stupidly happy. She's over there doing a little dance by her carriage. Like, what? Yeah. What is wrong with you people?
Idiot.
And I mean, like with Penelope this episode, we got a little bit more of Lady Disodom that we didn't get from the books either. Yeah. Like she has to recruit, was it Delacroix? Is that how you say her name? Madame Delacroix. Yeah. I had to pop my mouth open. Or what did you say?
Genevieve's her first name.
Oh yeah, Genevieve, that's right. Yeah. So Penn, the whole episode is clearly on edge about running to the Maurice. And again, it could have been solved by saying something while she was standing right in front of her. But instead, she goes back to point out even more. Hey, did I see you there? Yeah, that was me. So this is what happened. Like going there afterwards just makes you more suspicious.
It ends up working out in her favor though, because Madame Delacroix like willing to like kind of help her out and stuff. So
I like this partnership.
Yeah. I loved where like Lady Whistledown wrote something and she of course called it. She's like, "Did you have to call me old?" That was funny.
And even with when she brings up the Maurice, she says, "A lady's business is a lady's business." Wouldn't you agree? Like, then Penn almost gets like scared, and that's when she writes that. So we see a lot of their partnership forming, and the Maurice had already figured it out too, that she was Whistledown.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that revelation happen for her though. Because I actually do like the character of Genevieve. I like her a lot.
I do too. Yeah.
I do too.
And so I wish we could have seen her, if it came from seeing Penn in that market, if it came from seeing how she interacts with people. I wish I saw how she made the connection because we aren't given that at all.
Yeah. I think I would really enjoy to see how I really think it was her seeing her at the market.
Yeah.
I think
especially dressed in the outfit she was dressed in.
I think she saw that and then she went and then she probably started putting a little bit of stuff together and going, okay, that makes sense.
So she goes back and they agree to a partnership. And what she's done is kind of smart. She sews in the Whistledown papers into a dress and then sends it. But wouldn't you think that would tip someone off sending a dress to a print shop?
It's just in a box. So it's not like they don't really like know what's.
I suppose when the delivery boy is walking out of the Modiste, they don't know where he's going. So no one's going to follow a delivery boy with a dress box. The other thing I want to put on Penn real quick before we move on to the dinner is there was a single time in these 2 episodes when Penn did not wear yellow. She wore pink.
I know, the pink dress.
I would rather see her in a blue, but she wore a pink dress then.
Oh, blue would look so good on her.
Because that's in Penn and Colin's book when 10 years down the line, when she's figured out who she is, she starts buying her own clothes and she starts buying blue. But she's in a pink dress. So good job, Penn. I don't know how you convinced your mom to give you a pink dress, but you got a pink dress. But when she comes up with the idea for the Modiste is when the Cowpers come over for dinner.
Oh,
that dinner was so hilarious.
Yes, it was.
It was all of it with like
we have to give you some lead into this too, because obviously in these episodes is where we find out. I love how it happens. Portia's upset that Featherington's paying Cowper attention. And she's talking to Varley and says, "We just need someone stupid enough to mold." And then Prudence walks in the room and shouts, I want the bigger room.
Mhm.
And there she is.
Yep. And it was like, I mean, Portia and Mrs. Varley, like at the same time, without even speaking, like realized they had the same thought. And like, okay, there we go.
I really like Prudence because she's so stupid. She's not Edwina stupid. She's like delightfully stupid.
Yes.
Like, she's just dumber than a box of rocks.
She really is. I don't understand. Did everybody call him like their cousin's cousin?
No.
So he asked them to call him that, right?
Oh,
I don't know if he
remember
asked them or
that.
if they just started calling him that because
I think
they
they
liked him.
said, I feel like they said somewhere in there, like he said to call him Cousin Jack. But I just love it because
Cousin Jack.
it just makes
Drives
it
Portia crazy.
so much funnier. Like when we're saying stuff. I mean, like when Portia's trying to, well, they go get a new dress to highlight Prudence's figure because we've got to impress him.
Cousin Jack.
And then she's telling her how to, fan her, draw attention to her bosom. And of course it doesn't work.
No.
But that was my favorite line is when she's like, Cousin Jack I wrote it down, did not glance once at my bosom. And even Portia's like, stop calling him that. Because it makes it sound so much worse when you say Cousin Jack did not look at my bosom,
And originally that was her response when Portia's like, he'd be a perfect match for you, but he's our cousin.
Yeah.
That was her original response. And
mean,
she doesn't stop calling him that ever.
No.
Which I guess in that time, I mean, really your fourth cousin, it really wouldn't be like anything like incredibly shocking. But I mean, like,
no, really back then, I think that was actually
when you refer to him
more
as your
royalty.
cousin, that's where it gets weird though. Like don't call him
Exactly
your cousin,
it.
like
I mean, it's not
I'm
like
having like Joe Dirt flashbacks right now.
it's not like when the kings and queens of the time, like, yep, my husband, cousin so and so. They didn't call their husband cousin. They didn't call their wives cousin. That's not, you call them by their name.
Yeah.
You don't draw attention to how you're refining the bloodlines. It's gross. But Cousin Jack is completely unaffected by Prudence in every single possible way. Every way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, of course, though, guys. I mean, like, why would he pay attention? I mean, surely he wouldn't even think about. Well, we know there's other reasons too why he's like after the Cowpers, but
yeah. But I mean, he did show a spark of attention when she's like, "I love to travel," or she asked him about his mind. He's like, "Oh, do you love to travel?" Yes. Well, I would. I've never been further than Sussex. Mother says, "Stop talking, Portia. You're a train wreck."
Oh my gosh.
So when the Cowpers come to
all
dinner,
are.
I know when the Cowpers come to dinner, Portia is desperately trying to push them together. I like when she looks at Prudence and says, "Prudence, did you say something?" "What?" "Yes, in fact, I did."
so dumb.
She and Benedict are almost my favorite parts about the series so far. I mean, Kate and Anthony are my favorite couple so far, but Benedict and Prudence give me the most laughter
definitely
the entire season. And then she says, "I was thinking I would show my singing talents for all of you afterwards." And Portia just goes, "Oh God."
We've all heard that already.
We want no part of that. She keeps on with it too. "Are you sure you don't want to hear me sing?"
No, she said, "I really was serious. I would like to sing."
No, please don't do it. Please don't sing for us.
But this is where Penelope actually gets the idea for the Modiste scam, because she says, "Cressida, is that a new dress?" And then Portia says, "Stop interrupting." Going so well before. But she's talking about the new Vienna thing. So that's where it comes from, is this really incredibly super awkward dinner. And even Prudence, when she's sitting across from Cressida, is trying so hard to be intimidating. It almost comes off like she has gas or something. Like it just there's nothing. You got nothing. And so when they go to Aubrey Hall, and it was right before she declared her victory and said, "Look at me." She was talking to Prudence about Marina, and she said, "And besides, what's really so wrong about entrapping a man?" And so it's Prudence who accidentally gave Portia the idea for entrapping Cousin Jack. And this was so badly done. Like, I can't even believe that this stuck.
I can't. I did not think that was going to go the way that it went.
I mean, Portia wasn't like, you weren't even trying to be smooth about this. Like, you were told, like, well, you told Prudence to go to the orangery, and then you tell him that someone else wants to meet him there. That doesn't. And obviously they're going to find out that they didn't want to meet there.
Because she included them in the party to go find them.
Yes. Like she didn't even care that like he figured out she tracked him.
Mm-hmm.
Like didn't care at all.
And Prudence had no idea that what was happening.
No.
She
went along with it once she figured.
Because at first she was like, "Oh, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
I saw it.
You just told me to come in here."
Yeah,
that was it. But then it was when they said, "Well, he's hers if the lady chooses," and then she was like, "Oh, yes, I would love to marry cousin Jack."
Oh, the best.
Oh,
and
no.
Penelope actually like tries to be a sister to Prudence here because she's horrified that her mother just did this to her.
Yeah.
She can't believe this happened. She actually kind of wants to protect Prudence from it.
Yeah.
And all Prudence can think about is one, Lady Whistledown's going to write about her.
Mm-hmm.
Not even thinking what that would mean for the family at all, in any way, shape, or form. But two, that she is going to be the new lady of Featherington House.
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting all the attention that she wants.
Mm-hmm. And she thinks that Penelope is just being jealous. That's it. That's all it is. You're clearly jealous because you think that this would ruin everybody. But the joke is clearly on Portia.
Oh, I can't wait till the day that Portia finds out that her daughter is Lady Whistledown.
I know. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
I can't
but
wait.
Not because it's all I almost don't want her to because then she's gonna demand all the money.
She might.
I don't think that she needs to find out until Penelope is.
She doesn't need to, but they're screwing up the story with that.
I know. I just don't know how it's going to work out. I mean, I think they obviously have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stuff they're doing now probably doesn't make sense to us, but it might make sense.
I think it will.
Further on, we might be going, oh, well, that's maybe why they did that in season 2 is because this in season 3 or season 4. I think the stuff that we are confused on will get answered.
I can't talk about the thing that I hate the most yet, so I'm just going to say sound on this. But the reason the joke's on them is because cousin Jack is broke. So broke. His mines have nothing. He was trying to marry Cressida to get her thousands of dollars.
I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't either. I was shocked.
It made sense because I was trying to figure out, like, why in the world would he want to marry Cressida Cowper? Like, I was trying to figure that out, but it never crossed my mind that he was broke. Mm-hmm. So
no, at all.
No, because he was like paying stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, we thought he was.
Yeah, well, yeah. We thought he was paying for stuff.
Because Portia brings it up. She said, "You paid the dowry." He's like, "No, I gave a promise of payment with the fake ruby necklace." So that's where we find out that basically all the jewelry he has is fake. They all think it's jewels from his mines, but it's nothing. So he's going to marry Prudence, but they're going to be broke and they're going to live in poverty.
Good job.
Oh, the other thing Cressida said at the dinner was, "I don't want to brag, but I have been told I am very maternal in nature." By who? The devil?
I was appalled by that statement, by the way.
Did her mother tell her that? Because maybe that's the only person that could possibly, like.
I don't think her mother even thinks that of her. No. I was hoping that like Penn or somebody would like choke on their food when she said that. Mm-hmm. But there was nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Least maternal person. So I think we've talked for you guys. I'm gonna edit this out so you guys have an easier listening time. But we've been talking for 2 hours about
over
these 2 episodes.
For 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's an hour an episode. So we've been talking the episodes. We didn't start until like 9:20.
You could have watched the episode faster than you could have listened to us talk about it.
No, because you aren't gonna get the full version of this. I'm gonna cut it down so it's not 2 hours.
For sure.
But you don't get our wise interpretations by watching the show. So tune in next week. Well, you're probably getting equally long. Bridgerton always takes 2 hours to do 2 episodes. I don't know why. Even the Sweet Magnolias takes like 2 hours to do 2 episodes. Always does.
Yeah.
So that's our standard recording time is 2 hours for almost anything. So you can tune in the next week where we'll be going over episodes 5 and 6. And you can join a Bridgerton group, which is Bridgerton Family Fan Club on Facebook. So then we'll see you there. Bye, guys.
Bye.
For our listeners craving more, you can search for all 16 of our groups on Facebook by searching Family Fan Club. Come on over and join the conversation. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok under Fandom Family Chats. We try to always make sure to have something that will entertain. Of course, we'd also love your feedback, the good and any bad. And you can provide that by emailing us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com.
Keep an eye out for our website coming soon, where you'll be able to buy FFC merch and merch about some of your favorite TV shows with some favorite sayings and images. We're also working toward hosting a Comic-Con style event in 2024 where some of your favorite fandoms, cast, crew, and fans alike will come together for a fun-filled weekend. You can find those announcements on our website coming at you soon. Keep watching and listening, and as always, don't forget to share and subscribe.